Welcome to the last chapter of SDM4 and R, Multiple Regression Wisdom. Multiple regression is a really powerful and really flexible technique that allows us to think about relationships beyond just bivariate, beyond just two variables. Part of the concern, though, if we just teach you what we've done so far, is that you might actually run into some trouble because these are very powerful techniques and it's easy to actually get led astray. This chapter is intended to make you a little less dangerous. So there's an example brought in here with roller coasters as a way of thinking about how those are related, and we're fitting a model here and just starting with a single predictor or kind of, but now we can actually see the list of variables that are included we might want to put into a higher order term. One of the ones we revisit the idea of indicators, where we have group categorical variables that we want to include in some kind of model. So we can be thinking here about one that has inversions in different ways, yes, no. We can be thinking about then adjusting for different slopes with a parallel slope model or an interaction model. So this all bears really close reading. There's some really useful things in here. Diagnosing and assessing models is also going to be very important for us moving forward. Section 2 talks about the different ways we can have leverage, influential points, different ways to look at residuals. All these things are very straightforward to calculate in R, including influential cases. So a nice step-by-step example that takes us through these examples, and really most importantly, the write-up. How are we going to make the conclusions from what we've seen here? How are we going to interpret that in the context of the problem? Building multiple regression models, again, partly is beyond the scope of an intro course, but we can think about some approaches. Stepwise models run into all kinds of issues in terms of maintaining p-value, overall alpha level for the test. I'm going to leave that for right now, perhaps a little less focus on that. For the projects, I'm going to help guide you through that. And then really think about the extended example, which is very valuable to be able to think about how this is all put together, how we make interpretations from the infant mortality example. The just checkings is always a very helpful way of making sure that we have a good understanding. And then lastly, but really important, we can think about indicators from 3 or more levels. This is really like the equivalent of an ANOVA if that was the only predictor in the model. But we're going to be using this fairly commonly. And then we have to think about some other issues about collinearity and other things. Same concerns as before. Things can go wrong. We need to be thinking about aspects of collinearity, this aspect of high influence points, kind of now that we're operating at a higher dimension. But it really does, multiple regression provides us this powerful approach to proceed. Doing everything in SDM4, really not much new here. We have another example where we're loading in some data for the roller coasters, doing a little bit of data wrangling for that, generating some of these partial plots and some other models. We can use the mod fun, make fun, and plot fun to be able to see what the things are. Diagnoses are, again, very straightforward. The mplot function has multiple uses with Mosaic, and here it can actually be used if you give it a multiple regression object, that it will go ahead and give us some of these diagnostics that we'll see. So the scale and location plot, looking for aspects of heteroscedasticity, Cook's distance in terms of some of those influential points, and then some aspects of how we might look at standardized residual and studentized residual. Again, as we end the course, kind of thinking about this idea of trying to be not dangerous, to really be thinking about how multiple regression models can be fit, interpreted, and assessed.